And I'm Kim Swann with Mortgage Investors Group.
It's the first Wednesday in November, if you can believe. The year is almost gone already. But it's the first Wednesday, so we always take the first Wednesday of the month and do our market update. So Kim will give you an update on where rates are at, and then I'll tell you kind of how the Hamblen County real estate market was last month in terms of sales and how much inventory we have. So Kim, I'll let you start us out.
Alrighty. Rates are still doing really good. We've had probably a little bit of movement up, which is not what none of us want to see here, but conventional 30-year rates are still mid threes, upper threes now. It's about where those are running. FHA rates are always going to be a little bit better. They're running around 3.25. The THDA is still holding at 3.5. Of course, if you're a veteran with THDA, that's the first-time homebuyer loan, then you can actually, they give you that 0.5% discount. So they're doing those at 3%. And all these, of course, that we're talking about are 30-year fixed-rate loans. They also found out this week, too, that if any veterans are holding out for next year, the VA funding fee is going to go up January the 1st. So if anybody's looking to do a VA loan, if you can get that in before the end of the year, you're required to pay that VA funding fee. It's going to be cheaper to do it then. And then the rural development rate is still running around the 3.5 to 3.7 on it as well. Rural development is, that's an approval process in itself. It's taken, we've had one that we had to deal with this week. They're running a little bit behind. I think they're now working on files they received like on October 16th or 17th. So anybody looking at those loans are going to take about 30 or probably about 45 days minimum if you're looking at those. So basically what we're being told as far as rates, some possible movement up. So again, anybody that's on the fence or thinking about I want to do something, it might be a good time to go ahead and get on board and get that house bought and get rates locked in. So that's about where we are right now.
All right. And I think we've talked about that before, that with next year being an election year, a lot of times, rates will move up a little bit and things just kind of take a different route until we see what's going to happen with that election. So you do still have time between now and the end of the year to buy a new home for sure. But to tell you a little bit about what happened in the month of October, we had 50 homes that sold in Hamblen County. The average days on the market was 72. So that's from the time that we put them on the MLS and listed them till they actually closed with 72 days. And then the average sales price was $175,868. So again, we've seen that move up. There's actually a 22% increase in the average sold price in the past 2 years. I went back and pulled 2018 and 2017's numbers, and in 2017 the average sold price was $144,663. So pretty significant increase as far as that goes. Now in 2018 we actually had 62 homes that closed in the month of October. The average days on the market was 108 and the average sales price was $157,600. So not as many homes that closed, and I think again a large part of that is due to the lack of inventory that we have right now. There's 178 homes on the market in Hamblen County right now. So based on selling 50 homes a month, that's about 3.5 months of inventory. But that number is a little misleading, because if we break it down into the price ranges, if we're in less than $125,000 market, which there's not a ton of stuff, that you're going to find out there that's going to be move-in ready at that price. But we only have 1 month of inventory in that price range. And from $125,000 to $175,000, we have 45 homes that are actively for sale right now. We have 22 homes in that price range pending, and there were 14 that sold last month. So what that means is we have a little over 1 month of inventory. All right, because we take the pendings and add the number of solds and divide that into how many actives we have. So a little over 1 month of inventory. 175 to 225,000, we only have about 1 month of inventory. And then in the 225 to 300,000 range, we only have 1 month of inventory. So it's not until we get above that 300,000 mark that we start seeing more than 1 month. $300,000 to $400,000 homes, we've got about 2.5 months of inventory. $400,000 to $500,000, there's about 5 months of inventory. And then if you go above that $500,000 mark, we have 9 months of inventory. So not a whole lot moving on that above $500,000 scale. So it does take longer for homes in that price range to sell. But it's kind of misleading when I say there's roughly 3.5 months worth of inventory.
Yeah,
there's really not.
Yeah, that's not.
If you're looking for a home, up to $300,000, we only have about a month's worth of inventory. So the biggest question I get right now from people is, well, should I put my house on the market when we're coming up at the end of the year? We've got the holidays. I'd tell you absolutely yes. I mean, there's a lot of people out there who would like nothing better than to be in a new home by Christmas. So, if you have a house, $125,000 to $300,000, give me a call. We can get it on the market, relatively quickly for you. And then you would have a really good chance of getting it sold and closed before the end of the year. So, the biggest catch with that is, do you have a house or someplace to move? Because inventory is so tight. A lot of times that's part of the problem too, is that sellers want to sell and find a new home, but they're having a hard time doing that. So
now, one thing I see there, I guess in my career, I've done a lot of first-time home buyer loans or done a lot of loans for people where they've not made a down payment in the last several years. But if they did that even a couple years ago, from those numbers, it looks like they've probably got a lot of some equity now. So, which would allow them to be able to buy a new home and have a down payment. Is that kind of with that increase, and is that kind of something that we see there? As far as
a lot of times people who have done the VA loan because of that funding fee getting rolled in, sometimes it's going to be tight for them. But if you've bought a home, in the past 2 to 5 years, you've probably got enough appreciation that you would be able to sell that home and then have a little bit of money to make a down payment towards a new home. It may not be 20%,
sure.
But you could put 5 or 10% down.
And then if the VA loan you're talking about, then they could always get another VA loan, so they wouldn't have to have the down payment too. So,
right.
So that's great numbers to see that value's going up like that.
Well, and I don't know that it's necessarily value as much as it is the average sold price. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I don't want people to think that I'm saying values as a whole have went up that much, but I think we've got more buyers in the marketplace now. And you and I have talked about this before, where when I bought my first home numerous years ago, I bought like a $75,000 house, was tickled to death to have it and to quit renting. And that's kind of changed over the past few years. And a lot of the first-time home buyers now, they're starting out looking at the 150 to 225 range. And a lot of them, live with their parents till they get out of college. They may have already had a job for a few years. And I think they're waiting a little bit later in life. And so they have higher expectations for a first home as opposed to what they used to. So used to, your under 150 range was your first time home buyer.
That's true.
And now we're seeing, 125 to 250 is first time home buyer. So I think that's part of the reason that the average sold price has increased. Right. The new construction that's being done by Philip Carlisle, he focuses, I think, on that 150 to 250 range. So, there's that plays into it as well. But on the whole, Hamblen County is still looking really good. We've got new factories that are due to be coming in. Lots of positive things that are still happening in Hamblen County as far as growth goes. So we've got people from the outlying counties that are moving in because they're working here. They're tired of driving 30 minutes. So it's a good time. It's a good time to buy, and it's a good time to sell. With rates this low, you can't pick a better time to buy a house.
No. And again, what we've got at least three different options there for no down payment. So that's good. And FHA is just the minimum down payment on it is just 3.5% of the sales price. So there's still options for no down payments and low down payments. So
right. And I actually did a video over the weekend. You can go to my YouTube channel and check it out. But it was talking about using your 401k as a down payment. as we were talking about in the past, they are predicting a recession to hit. And so if you have money in stocks and bonds, you're probably going to take a hit in your 401k. So you could always pull the money from your 401k to use as a down payment with FHA. A lot of times you won't have a penalty for that because you're using it to buy a house. Might be a smart way to use your 401k rather than taking a hit, if we do see that recession. So, but anyway, all right, real quick before we sign off, I want to remind everyone the Great Pie Giveaway is going to be November the 26th from 4 to 7 p.m. And what is the Great Pie Giveaway? It is us giving back to the community. We are asking you to bring in a donation for the warming station at Matt's. And you can bring in hot hands. They make those for hands. They make them for feet. So any of that, a blanket or a sleeping bag. And if you will bring that in to us on the 26th between 4 and 7 here at Mortgage Investors Group office, then we will give you a free pie in return. So you do need to RSVP. If you go to the search bar in Facebook and you start typing in the Great Pie Giveaway, you should be able to find the event. It will ask you to get a ticket because we are limiting the number of pies. It's to the first 250 people. So you'll want to bring either your email that you get, or if you physically printed out your ticket, bring that with you. We would love to see you. We're working on getting a food truck lined up for that event so you can stop in, hang out with us, pick up supper for the family, and then go back. Save yourself some time of having to cook dessert on Thanksgiving by getting a free pie. So we would like to give a shout out to Bobby Laster with Farm Bureau, Bentley's Home Inspection, Lakeway Title, and Gus Construction.
They're helping